Which, hey, fair play to him. Like, I can totally understand that mindset, because it's lonely at the top. Not that Cameron would know. Hi everyone, this is Matt. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore Podcast. This week I'm joined by Cameron and Garrett. Here at Real Gamerscore, we used to like to discuss all things Xbox achievements and putting our guests to sleep while we reminisce. This week we talk about quantum clouds, being golden for the next 800 years, and what the hell is a UXP? But first, here's the song of the week. Buddy, you've got to let me know. Should I sleep or should I boost? If you say that you're online, I'll be here to the boosting time. Oh, you gotta let me know. Should I sleep or should I boost? It's always ping, ping, ping. You're on my Discord making it ring. One day it's morning, next it's night. So if you want me in your fight, well, come on and let me know. Should I sleep or should I boost? We need to figure this out, apparently. But anyway.
Yep. I need a button.
Okay, so I was going to ask if anyone has any guesses for it. Cameron, do you know what it is? People in the chat definitely did.
I know what this is without looking in the chat. Is should I stay or should I go from the Clash?
Yeah, okay, good. We also, Odrin in chat also got it, and so did Charlotte. But I would hope Charlotte got it because she sent me the original lyrics for this. So nice. I'm going to call you out there. But no, good job, Odrin. We'll have some more challenging ones in the future, I'm sure. I wanted to make it a nice, easy one for the final episode, so Cameron would definitely get it. And if he didn't get it, I would have just done the new show by myself. All right, well, let's get into the housekeeping. Discord.io/realgamerscore is probably the last time I'm going to be shouting out the Discord, of this Discord at least. It's our current Discord where you can go to talk about the podcast. We've got some channel about just random stuff. We've got a meme channel, all the bits and pieces. We're going to be posting a link to the new Discord, the UXP Discord, in there probably just after the show. So you guys can flood over there and infect everyone with all your happiness, we'll say. We've also got a Patreon, patreon.com/realgamerscore. If you want to give us some money so we can continue to do the next show, all that stuff's going to be carrying over, and we're going to be using that for equipment and competitions and things like that. Again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And we're also going to be...
Before the show, that if you're going to donate money, make sure it's at least $500, okay?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, again, no. I mean, for tax reasons, they need to be as large as possible. I can,
Garrett,
if I don't have a swimming pool full of money by the end of this, I'm not going to be happy.
The problem with this is we'll get the $500 donations, but it'll be basically what Garrett does 1 cent at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We'll have to take it to the bank in a wheelbarrow. And also, we'll be bringing back the Real Gamerscore Word Challenge. I'm trying to get the bot working over on the new Discord, but it's a work in progress. But once that's up and running, we will let you guys know on the new show.
I talked to Kobe this week, and I should have actually asked him. Damn. Anyway.
Yeah, you probably should have, but it's fine. We'll work it out.
Cool.
But yeah, without any further ado, let's introduce our guest, Mr. Garrett Atkins. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so... Again, my name is Garrett Atkins. I'm a gamer, first and foremost, hence why I'm on this podcast here right now. But my background is being a serial entrepreneur. I own a few companies, 4 companies. First one I started was back in October of 2016. It's a digital marketing company called Vi Media. I don't want to plug that at all whatsoever because it's not my main focus, just more or less telling my story. But I started that company. We build websites. We do search engine optimization. We do paid ads on Google, Bing, on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and basically manage large companies' advertising money. And they spend money with us, and we make them more than what they spend with us. That's basically the goal, is making them a return on investment, an ROI, right? So that went really well, and it led to us starting a couple other companies, which has led to me having the ability and freedom to pursue one thing I'm more passionate about than business, which is gaming. I've been wanting to get into game journalism since I was in high school. Been a huge fan of Xbox since I got my 360 the day it came out when I turned 13. Well, it came out the day before I turned 13, but I got it that day. And basically, now that I'm in a place in life where I have a lot of freedom with my time, bills are paid by ventures that I started 5 years ago now. I can finally pursue starting what's referred to as the UXP right now, the real name, which will be announced probably on Tuesday, which is the first time I have alluded to an actual name reveal date. So Tuesday we'll be announcing the name of the UXP, which is the Unnamed Xbox Project. And what that is an Xbox-centric news and media brand, website, Twitch channel, YouTube, social media channels, and then a few podcasts that are all centered around delivering very entertaining, informative, and correct Xbox-centric news. And so right now, I think the first thing I ever did about it, it's been a month today. Wow, today's the 25th. So on May 25th, I posted on Twitter that I had this idea about starting Xbox-centered media company to just report news, write articles, and create video content and graphics. I thought I'd get 3 or 4 likes on Twitter, and it ended up right now we're at 4.5 million impressions on Twitter on all of my content over the past 30 days. So it's kind of crazy that today is actually the month. I didn't think about that. But that was a month ago. Since then, we have hired on 50 volunteers that basically decided to get involved in this project. They all believe in the vision of creating a much more professional, much more attractive, much more fun Xbox news source for the world. Which actually, with over 50 members, makes us now the largest Xbox news brand in the world. I think the second largest only has 22 team members, if I'm not mistaken. So we're over double in size than the second largest in the world. And of course, which is very crazy because it all started off of literally a tweet that I thought would go nowhere. So for all this to happen, just blows my mind. But that's what I'm working on now. And then a little side project we did that I know you two know about is GamePassCounter.com, which keeps track of all the Xbox Game Pass games in a very attractive one-page website format. And that's getting updated daily because Xbox likes to keep us busy and keep adding and taking things off of Game Pass every day. So that's what I'm working on, and that's it.
I think yesterday was hell for Mike. Just like felt like every 5 minutes I was going back to the chat, just like, hey, so there's like another one?
Yeah, no, it was bad. And then we posted it on Reddit. So I was like, okay, well, if Twitter liked it, I'll post Game Pass Counter on Reddit. And I posted it in the Xbox subreddit, and I posted it in the Xbox Series X subreddit. And it blew up to the front page of both subreddits within 6 hours. And were the top posts of the day and one of the top posts of the week and month. So, which that was awesome. And it also brought up a bunch of recommendations and changes that people wanted to make, which is good because if you listen to your audience and make changes based on what the audience is demanding, you're going to get more users, right? So that's what we're focusing on right now with that one.
It's a sign of a good product, right? Is that you've got interest, but also improvements as well, things to work on, and it's it's only up from here. Yeah. So that's a bit about UXP and yourself. Let's talk a little bit about your gaming history. where did you get started with video gaming? You've been doing it from a young age? What was your first console? Do you have any sort of standout early games that you remember?
I think I was 4 or 5. I played Nintendo Entertainment System Super Mario Bros. 1. That's the first gaming memory. I was in my grandparents' basement in a small town called South Elgin outside of Chicago in Illinois, which is a real big city in the United States. And I was in the basement sitting in a old Lazy Boy recliner chair playing Super Nintendo. Super Mario Brothers, which I think is like the perfect game to have as your first game ever played, right? So I really cherish that memory. But then I got really into gaming. Nintendo 64, I was into gaming pretty hard. That's when I was actually playing an educational PC game at the age of 5 or 6 in my dad's bedroom on his computer at his desk. And he walked in with the Nintendo 64 and tried pulling me away from the computer, which I was having so much fun playing that Edu game. And he's like, dude, check this out. It was Super Mario Brothers 64. And that was kind of like the second time I played video games, was the next evolution of Mario, more or less. And then after that, I fell in love with games. But one of my biggest things was playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on GameCube. I mean, I was a huge gamer before that, but that's what made me fall in love with the role-playing game genre, which took my love for games to the next level. So Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which is why I was so excited about Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, right? But that, let's just say that's not a good spiritual successor. I am playing it nonetheless, but yeah, not the same thing.
Hard to recapture the magic.
But also, I guess I'll go into my Xbox past. Again,
sure.
The day before my 13th birthday, I had been stalking rumors and leaks about Xbox 360 for 1 to 2 years prior to its actual launch. My parents said they couldn't get it for me. And they were evil. They went out to go get it for me at like 4 or 5 in the morning, the day before my birthday when it released, I think November 20th, 2005. And one day they came home and they said, "Oh, we couldn't get it. We did pre-order it and we'll get it in March."
Classic.
March from November to March is like 10 years, right? When you're a kid. So I was like, fuck this. So anyways, then my dad's like, "Hey, Garrett, help me with something in the laundry room." So I walk in the laundry room and he's standing there at the 360. And I was just like, "Oh, yes. Yes." And then I played, I had Need for Speed Most Wanted and Perfect Dark Zero. Those were my 2 first games on 360. I played so much Perfect Dark Zero. I mean, I played that game until the end of the 360 console cycle, basically.
Wow.
I loved that game. And if you go in there, you can still find 1 or 2 games if you're lucky every now and then. Looking for group has definitely made it easier, but even there, it's in short supply. I love that game, even though it got destroyed critically. I just have such good nostalgic memories. And the maps, I think the maps in Perfect Dark Zero are one of the most underrated things in gaming. So, but yeah, after that, I fell in love with Xbox. I've been a diehard Xbox fan since 2005. I think that Christmas I got Xbox Live, or it might have been the following Christmas. And then 2 years later in 2007, that's when we had Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty 4, Halo 3, and a bunch of heavy. I mean, 2000.
It was a hell of a year.
Were huge years.
Yeah.
Those are like 2 of the biggest years in gaming, are 2007 and 2011. So I remember that. That's when I fell in love with FPS, because I had played Halo and Halo 2, but I had never played something like a Half-Life yet. My parents were very strict, so didn't get to play a Half-Life. Plus, it probably would have scared the shit out of me back when I was younger. I just got in the horror games. I'm a pansy when it comes to horror games. So, but that's when I fell in love with FPS. And then, it's just uphill or downhill from there, depending on your perspective. So,
yeah, it depends on the day. I get you.
It's
so in terms of, sorry,
I was going to say, it's crazy to think too, like if you were born quite a few years later and you were going for a Series X rather than a 360, that story probably wouldn't hold up.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny how they work. So it's still hard to get those new consoles at the moment. So in terms of, so you said you're a big FPS fan and big RPG fan. Do you have any go-tos nowadays? Now that they haven't released a Perfect Dark game for quite a few years.
There's two. You can break it down into two sections, right? You have your old reliables, and then you have what you're playing now. My old reliable is Halo Master Chief Collection, especially now. I mean, 2014 is when that came out, right? I mean, they butchered it. It sucked bad, and I'm a huge Halo fan. They could have re-released all the games without remastering them at all whatsoever, and I would have loved that game still. But no, they just decided to give us nothing but call it a game at first. So that really stunk. But no, that's one of the best games out there right now in the FPS genre is Halo Master Chief Collection due to the way they're treating it. So that's one of my old reliables. What I'm playing now, RPG wise, let's see here. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. At one point, about a year and a half ago, I was the second or third largest Elder Scrolls V Skyrim streamer on Twitch. Lots of people don't know that about me, but I played that like 5 to 6 nights a week for 8 to 12 hours at a time. That's how I got so big, is by streaming for such long periods of time. But then, I own a couple companies and could not do that sustainably, and I had to stop. So that was really cutting into normal life. So that's my old reliable on the RPG front. I'm trying to get into Fallout 76 right now, but the lag is like the main thing. Like, just when you're trying to kill enemies, there's like this weird little lag that's barely noticeable, but it's there, and that kind of breaks the immersion on a game for me that requires immersion. But nonetheless, that's like the RPG I'm trying to get into right now, and I just booted up Yakuza Like a Dragon. I like JRPGs, but I'm kind of hesitant about that one because I heard that you're basically going to finish the game 5 years from now. So that's always scary, right? Same thing with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I have Valhalla, but I've had Valhalla since the launch day, but have not gotten into it because of how long people say it is. They say it's like 80 hours of story alone, so that's pretty crazy. That said, FPS wise, what am I playing now? Rainbow Six Siege. I love Rainbow Six Siege. That's what I'm playing right now, and Halo Master Chief Collection. Yeah.
Nice. It's a good list. It's a really good list. All right. Cameron, did you have any questions?
I was going to say, what would be your most memorable achievement in gaming? Like, it doesn't have to be an actual achievement, but like... And yeah, I was going to say too... Oh, no, it's fine.
It's fine. I if I'm going to talk shit, it's going to be to Cameron in general. It's fine.
I don't say achievement to you condescendingly.
I say that to him, but you're fine. Like, I mean, Cameron has an expectation that he should be hitting that high rank at every week, and if he doesn't, then we call him out for that.
Wait till we get to Gamerscore this week.
Yeah, well, okay, fair. But you've also been playing a lot of trash. I've been watching.
That's fair.
Started watching too. I can concur.
It's oof.
You bust out 5,000 a day, it's gonna be trash.
Yeah, probably.
But before I met you two, my highest achievement in gaming was having all but one multiplayer related achievement for Master Chief Collection.
That's actually very impressive. Yeah, I mean, because I haven't even played Master Chief Collection on my tag.
Is it the Legendary Medals one? I'm assuming. I think I've asked you this before.
It's the last medals one. Because I don't play a lot of campaign. I could go in campaign and knock it out real fast, but I haven't played a lot of campaign. I've literally almost exclusively played the multiplayer for Master Chief Collection because I had already played the campaign so much when I was a kid, So, so for that, the medal achievement's extremely tedious. I won't say hard, but tedious if you're only playing multiplayer. You can knock it out in a day if you just sit in campaign, so...
It used to be the good option. If it's the one I'm thinking of, you used to be able to go into a match and then immediately exit, and it would count towards progress.
Oh, really?
So I think I got it like within like the first month of actually having it.
They patched that though pretty quick, I think.
Let's just say for Master Chief Collection, patches weren't really the quickest.
Fair. They definitely had some other, they had other bits and pieces they were probably working on, which is
Like lasso checkpointing getting fixed was like 2 to 3 years later.
Oh yeah, true. All right. Yeah. Any other questions there, Cameron?
No, I think that was the big one.
Just like the games I get most of my gamer score from, like everyone, like you two, I've played some grimy ass games to get gamer score, right? But I will say the majority of my 158,000 is from playing like pretty solid games, like really good games,
I would say
at night and feel good about what I got going on,
I would
we can't do that. We can't do that.
See, the words Radalaka, East Asia Software, and Zidalon probably mean nothing to you compared to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's playing stuff that's at least there's a level of quality there which we have dipped far below.
That's why he hasn't started Cyberpunk yet.
Yeah, I can't. I gave someone my word I'd beat Cyberpunk in a 2-week period of time because I was on the Xbox cast, and they give you a game to go play over the next 2 weeks. I said I'd play Cyberpunk, but I just can't because I'm waiting for that next gen update for sure.
Yeah. Yep, me too.
Waiting for that fix.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
All right, Cameron, you want to get into some of the news you pulled for us?
All right, so I don't really have much. Like, there's quite a little bit of news going around this week. First one I wanted to go with was the Xbox Game Studio Publishing hired the lead designer for Portal as the cloud gaming director.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting fit. I guess what does a cloud gaming director do? I guess is more the question.
That's the question, because it's kind of like I would say like a newish role. And the other thing I was going to bring up too is probably more prevalent to Garrett. She was on the team for the Left 4 Dead as a designer.
Oh.
Yeah.
And wait, what is she supposed to do? I know I already read about it, but jog my memory. What was she hired for? The cloud?
So she is the senior director for cloud gaming that is going to accelerate our innovation and collaboration with independent studios to build games for the cloud.
And what did she do for Portal?
She was the lead designer.
That's a weird shift.
It's a very strange shift, right? I mean, hey, like, just because you worked in one part of video games doesn't mean you can't work in other parts, right? But yeah, so we're going to use quantum tunneling to reduce lag on video games. I've got this great Portal technology idea that I've got stashed away.
So she's working with an interview with Polygon, she said that she's going to build a team focused on new experiences in the cloud, something that's going to support the mission of bringing Xbox games to connect 3 billion players worldwide. So
she on as a developer then? Because that sounds like as a developer.
Yeah. That's why it's a bit weird.
Tarragon in the chat does point out that she has had a few jobs in between Portal and here, obviously, because Portal was a long time ago. But yeah, it is interesting. I guess the idea of this is kind of a discussion. Oh, thank you, Aftos, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Now we can start.
Finally put the kids to bed. Yeah, I guess maybe the question is around building games that are cloud first. I guess is a discussion that's been had quite a few times around, when cloud gaming was a thing, when they were talking about like on live back in the day, and then so she was also apparently a design director at Stadia. So I guess so looking at that kind of stuff around building games for the cloud first as sort of a how do you deal with the implicit problems of having potential input lag and that kind of stuff, and how do you build a game that works with the cloud rather than deals with the setbacks of being on the cloud?
Yeah, what I guess I'm trying to think of as I was listening to you talk there is just like let's use Sony's controller for example. If you make a game taking that controller into account, you can achieve some very cool things like Astro's Playroom or whatnot. They have the effects where you can feel every single step. They have the resistance on the triggers, and taking that same token and thinking to yourself, well, what does cloud technology allow you to do with a video game that you could not do otherwise? And I'm trying to think if there is anything. We haven't seen a single thing yet. There's never been a game where someone says this is being built for the cloud. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'd have to really rack my brain to try to figure out what I won't say exclusive, because I doubt whatever they make is going to be exclusive to the cloud. But like, let's say someone did make something exclusively for the cloud. What would that mean, and what benefits would that have? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's what feature does it bring? And, you know, Phil Spencer talked about this a few years back when they announced when it was called xCloud back in the day, saying, hey, yeah, like, obviously, like, cloud gaming is a part of the Xbox ecosystem, but it's never, they never see it replacing the console home experience. It's more of an addition to say, hey, you know, if the best place to play games is always on Xbox, as their tagline was, but if you wanted to play it on a phone using cloud, like, obviously there's going to be setbacks, but you can still do it. It's about, like, accessibility and being able to play
I figured it out. So you know how you play xCloud right now? And if you play Master Chief Collection, for example, it's not the best experience in the world if you're playing Master Chief Collection multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if there is something that does not work well with it, that means there's also the opposite. That meaning, let's take a good example. Monster Sanctuary works really well as a cloud-based game, right? Pokemon, let's say that was on cloud. That would be an excellent game for the cloud. So
anything card game turn-based,
non-reaction requirement.
That post makes a lot of sense, because I'm sure whatever games they're making are going to be taking connectivity issues into account. So they're going to be games that take that into account, will be very playable even under less than ideal circumstances connection-wise. So you can expect that it's not going to be a game where you care about frames per second, for example. I'm thinking something like 2 or 3 steps above your average mobile game, but below a AAA Halo experience, you know?
Sure. We're not going to see the next, like, Quake, right? Like, it's not like the cloud gaming is, like, not at a stage where you can do Twitch shooting. Ahmed in chat says Microsoft Flight Simulator is a great example of that, where it's like it's a bit more laid back. It's not as reliant on having that instant, like, reaction time and that kind of stuff. So I 100% agree. So I'd be interested to see, like, what you know, whether it's a more technology side of things where they want to try and improve their latency, or whether it's more design direction around the kind of games that they're going to build in the future from these Microsoft studios, because they've got a lot of them now. And, like, you know, we're all talking about, like, the stuff that's coming out at E3 and saying, oh yeah, this thing's coming out next, but, like, they still need to be thinking, you know, 5, 6, 10 years down the line around, like, what's the next thing? Like, what are we going to do with technological improvements? What are the next projects once this is done? Like, what do we want to start pre-production on? And what technology are we going to use to get there?
100%. Also, I don't know if you have it in the news or not, but we're on the subject of cloud. That being said, they announced that they had rolled out the Series X server blades.
Yes.
I think it's all working for over 200 games, I think is what they said, at least in the United States. So I can assume this is the same for New Zealand and Australia, perhaps.
Well, New Zealand hasn't got cloud gaming quite yet, unfortunately. They're still building the data. We're still waiting they're still building the data center. They like I said last week, they can host all of their release events here, but they can't build a data center apparently. It's been pretty rough, but Australia's got them currently.
I was going to say, I don't know if we're officially launched it or we're.
Well, I think that they said they were going to, right? At E3 they announced that you're going to be moving.
We were one of the countries.
It was in beta.
I need to go back to it and actually see if there's been any improvements, because like I've said before, I've tried to play Halo and stuff like that on it. It's horrible. I want to say Kiwami 2, and that was relatively good experience.
Yeah,
but yeah, like your card games.
I get.
Yeah, turn-based.
There's only so much you can do, right? And like Tarragon's brought this up in other chats that we've talked about, where when you know there's that population density to size of country that is always a factor when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. And Australia is a huge fucking country. Like it's massive area wise. Like it's the size of the US with a tiny proportion of the population. So it's understandable that, you know, like there are more dense population places are going to get these things first. It just sucks when you're on the other end of it. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. You know, I'm hoping that because, you know, I live in Auckland and we're the largest city in the country, that they're going to build the data center here. I mean, preferably they build it right next to my house, but I'll take what I can get. I have been using the streaming to like the local streaming from consoles to my PC and stuff for when my fiance wants to use the TV and that kind of stuff, which has been really good, and the experience has been decent. But I am really, really keen to see what they can do with cloud gaming because like I travel quite a bit for work, and so that would be a real big boon for me. And I still need to get my my Razer Kishi or whatever it's called to put on my phone and that kind of stuff. I've been looking for one of those for ages. But yeah, I'm excited. Well, I mean, last time I looked, they were out of stock, but that was around my birthday, so that was back in March. So I haven't checked recently.
Played a decent amount of cloud using my Razer Kishi. I've used Android and iPhone because I'm part of the Insider program and all that jazz. So, yeah, we'll see how it is. I'll report back.
I was going to say too, it's getting implemented straight away into Windows 11 at launch, right?
Can't you access it through the browser?
Not currently.
I think there was a workaround on there.
So I was going to say yes. There is a browser workaround, but they don't have an app workaround yet. So they're working on the same. So I think that was their key thing is that they're going to basically have it integrated into Windows 11 with the app itself once it launches.
Moving on to our next story. Yep, Battlefield 2042.
Yep.
Are we excited?
Yeah, I mean, it's multiplayer only, and, I don't play well with others, so we'll see. But, again, no campaign is always the big turn-off for me. But, from the trailer and from the gameplay, it does look really, really good, and apparently a lot of people agree, because they've actually had to increase the capacity of the Battlefield 4 servers on the Xbox, because they've just had so many people returning to it to play it.
Which is weird for EA, too, at the same time.
Yeah, EA adding service to something is pretty much the opposite of what they've been doing for the last 10 years. So,
especially lately.
Thanks for the warning about Fuse, guys. Really appreciate that. Not like I had any achievements left to get in or anything. But apparently it's getting back onto the Xbox gameplay charts. It's sitting at 25th place, which for a game that old is incredible. It was 2013 I think it came out. And even on the PlayStation, they're sitting at 31st. So it's been big. People are really excited for Battlefield to get back to its, I don't want to say its roots, because, it started with 1942 and that sort of stuff. But in terms of, its modern-day shooter stuff that they had with 3 and 4.
When's the beta meant to be? Just to keep the momentum going.
I don't know if they've actually officially announced when it was happening. I might just quickly look it up.
Because I know the story was pre-order and you get first access to the beta, but...
well, I mean, the game's coming out this year, right?
Yeah, October?
October. So it's not going to be much... Yeah, it'll be a pretty short beta. I mean... Again, most betas these days are basically just glorified demos to get people hooked into the game, so they play it straight away.
No, but I'm excited for it. I never play the campaigns. I can see from most consumer standpoint how paying $10 more than you've ever paid for a Battlefield at least, and not having a campaign, how you feel like you're losing the perceived value there. Additionally, from my understanding, they're only releasing 7 maps. Imagine Battlefield was already out, and then they released the DLC where it was 1 map and they charged you $10 for it. People would be up in arms about it, right? Well, that's exactly what they're doing for the game. They're releasing 7 maps for $70. You're paying $10 a map, and there's no campaign. So, I mean, and as far as we know, there's no Battle Royale either. And if there was, it should be free to play anyways, if it did have one. That being said, I think it's going to be a very interesting year for Battlefield. I'm going to buy it either way because I'm an enthusiast. I don't ever play the campaign, so I'm not upset about that. I'm in a good place about it, so may even see if we can strike up a review key by that time. That said, I do think that it's going to be, again, a very weird year for Battlefield because they're returning to their modern roots, as you put it, with the 3 and the 4. That said, they are releasing the most expensive Battlefield ever with the least amount of content, at least on paper, the least amount of content it's ever had, against a free-to-play Halo, which is the biggest from a launch standpoint. Halo going free to play is the biggest free to play launch of all time. Like, Fortnite's bigger, but Fortnite did not launch as good as Halo is going to launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That first week is going to be way bigger on Halo than it was Fortnite's first week. That said, it's going to be very weird seeing it go up against free-to-play Halo and, of course, the 800-pound gorilla Call of Duty. That's out every year. So, and I guarantee Call of Duty is going to have at least more perceived content than the Battlefield would. So, nonetheless, it looks super cool. And I think that either they're stupid or those maps are definitely huge and are used in a lot of ways depending on what game mode you're in. So we'll see how it turns out, but I'm really excited. It looks good. I didn't like 1. I didn't like 5. I loved 3 and 4. I like Battlefield more than I like Call of Duty, so it's going to be a good year for me.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. Was that, well, they've come off a bit of a rough, like 1 did pretty well for them, but 5 was kind of a train wreck. Their was it Firestorm, I think, was their battle royale.
Well, they didn't launch it until 2-3 months after launch.
It was it was too little, too late at that point, and it just kind of tanked. So I'm interested to where they go with that.
Yeah, in my opinion, they should be going free to play with Battlefield, and Battlefield should become a platform. I don't think that they could lose if they did that. I really don't see. I think that how could they lose?
I think it's purely the fact it's EA. Like, if it was any other company, I think they would be a bit more willing. But
well, I think part of it is that, and we've talked about battle royales in the past, and how there's always that cycle of genre becomes big. There's a couple of big contenders in it, and then everyone jumps on it, and then it dies. And 1 or 2 stick around. So it was, we had the FPS genre at the early 360 genre, early 360 stage with you had Battlefield 3 going up against Call of Duty 4, and then every game was a gunmetal grade dogshit brown military shooter, with people going oorah. They came up with that, was it Medal of Honor? There was a bunch of sci-fi ones that they did. There was just so many, and then it was it died, and then the MOBA genre happened, where it was League of Legends versus Dota 2, and then there was Dawngate and Heroes of New Earth and all these other ones that no one's ever heard of, and they all got oversaturated. The market died, and then it came into Battle Royale, right? And you had Fortnite going up against PUBG. PUBG kind of waned. I mean, it's still popular, but Fortnite is just crazy. And EA was really in a bit of a weird spot until they hit on Apex Legends, which was their big hit for that. The thinking behind it, I think, might be is that they don't potentially want to cannibalize. It would be hard for them to potentially manage 2 free to play games that are supposed to be money makers without them cannibalizing each other. Yeah, because how do you compete with free these days? Because that's the expectation these days. Is when you're going up against Call of Duty and Fortnite with your free to play modes that are so hugely popular. You come out here with $70, no campaign, 7 maps. I mean, even saying, we got 128 players, that was a lot more impressive, 5-6 years ago before, it was, 100 on 100, battle royale modes, and they just change up whatever they want. It's a large map size and large player count, doesn't move the needle anymore because it's the standard.
These big games like Battlefield and Halo, they need to not only please their existing player base is dying. To be honest, it has over the years. Battlefield was a lot bigger when Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was out, in my opinion. I'd have to look at the data, but I feel pretty comfortable stating that. That being said, these, unless Halo and Battlefield innovate in some way to attract new players, I don't see it going well. I think what I just described for Battlefield would have been innovative enough without creating a battle royale, for example, to where it would have attracted new players. Lots of kids that are playing video games have been all they know is battle royale. You know what I mean? So some kids that are playing Battle Royale were born 2 or 3 years before Battle Royale was released. And that's all a lot of kids know. And for them to go into a team deathmatch where it's 6v6 or 12v12 seems kind of droll to them.
Times have changed. All right. And do you want to go on to this last little bit here that you put in here, Cameron?
Oh, yeah. I thought I'd just include Stallion83 on Twitter. If Xbox Live goes down at any point, I am sorry because it might be my fault. They're upgrading my 800-year plus of Xbox Live Gold to lifetime Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Did you see what Xbox said? Xbox responded and said, it's a family heirloom now.
Yeah, exactly. It gets passed down the generations.
Just crazy. Like,
I mean,
Spy's the 2nd, 2080-47.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like I'm hoping that the license transfer system still works once you want it. If someone wants to move tag, or they can change. He'll just change the number on it per generation. So he's Stallion 83, he'll be Stallion 84 for his kid. Great. It's I mean, like it's great. Like great publicity on their front, and they obviously, you know, I mean, Stallion is, you know, he's a slightly controversial figure in the achievement scene because he's been doing it for so long. But you know, he was the best for so long that, like, of course, there are always going to be people trying to drag him down. So I get it. But he was also the inspiration for many of us, and to, you know, us getting into achievement hunting like competitively once we realized, like, you know, how high scores can be, and like, you know, what games you can play, and like what the mentality is to actually hit, like, get to that level to be, you know, noticed by Microsoft, to get sponsorships, and to actually, you know, and, you know, not doing it for that, but obviously seeing that it's like, it's not just us, you know, sitting in a basement playing video games and racking up scores that no one's ever going to see, right? Like, he was really a big part of that community.
The fact that people are conflicted about him because he's been gaming for so long, and that attributes to his gamer score. Like, the guy can help when he was born. How does that matter? That is such a silly thing. Should he have been born at a different time, or should he have not played Xbox till whoever's upset about it had started playing Xbox? So
yeah, people are always going to be sour grapes about it, right? Like, it's just, yeah. And like, and you know, he's not in the number one spot anymore because he's, you know, semi-retired, or he's not taking it as seriously. He's not as competitive. Which, hey, fair play to him. Like, I can totally understand that mindset, because it's lonely at the top. Not that Cameron would know.
Look! I never thought I would get, like, Game Pass, so I was happy about that.
No, you do fantastic, and, like, you know, again,
biggest fucking fake out of all time, I swear to God. It's bullshit. Anyway, yeah, I'm surprised he's dropped all the way down to 7th. Just having a look at the leaderboards.
It was him and Smirnoff for a long time, right? You make sure you look at the Gamerscore leaderboards, not the TA ones.
I'm looking at Gamescore.
Yeah, but it's like, I can totally understand when you get to, you know, over 2 million Gamerscore to be like, you know what, like, maybe I need to take a step back from this just a little bit. Like, still play games competitively, and still be, you know, big into achievement hunting. Like, I'm sitting at 1.6, and even I'm like, sometimes, like, you know, do I really want to play every, you know, trash Ratalaika and Zillion game that gives me, you know, 10,000 Gamerscore in a day? And sometimes I'm like, absolutely not. But some days I'm like, yes, actually, you know what? I feel that need. I need to earn some points and get up the leaderboards a bit.
If they Gallagher clones, they're fine. That's what I've learned from this week. If they Gallagher clones, it's 100% fine. If they Golf Zero, God, like, I never want to play a golf platformer again. What the fuck is that genre?
It's a very strange. It's a very strange game. It's a very, very strange
And then I was
game.
having a look at, like, jobs to apply for today, and the first one I came across my feed was another golf platformer. And I'm just like, why is this a thing now?
I was just going to say, yeah, Stallion's definitely retired for the most part. He only pops, like, I want to say 3,000 to 12,000 a month, somewhere in there.
Yeah, only.
I would say he's more an influencer now than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Influencer. He's pivoted to Twitch, right? That's where his platform is. And then, of course, he's on social media, and he's friends with the people at Xbox. So, I mean, that's not a bad life. I'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, like, absolutely fair play to him. Like, he did what he did for so long, and he was the best at it, and now he's sort of spun it off into what he wants to be doing now, which, hey, you know, that's good. Which, very important.
It'd be interesting in a year where Smirnoff and Redemption are, I reckon.
Yeah. Well,
there's still 250,000 points between them both,
but that means
on Twitch, and he's got almost 40,000 followers on Twitch.
That's pretty good. I would kill for that. But yeah, I agree with you, Cameron. I'll be interested to see where the, you know, the achievement landscape has changed so much over the last few years, like the last couple of years, especially with trash titles, and just easy gamer score, and like we always say, it's easy to get the first couple of 100,000 if you do it through those kind of games, but you still have to play relatively decent, or at least somewhat lengthy games if you want to get to your millions, your 2 millions, that kind of stuff. Like there just isn't enough trash to play yet.
Trash to play. Where am I right now? What in my life led to this moment?
We review the games that people are too afraid to review.
Oh yeah, I mean, like there's only so many Pimp My Rides on the 360 that you can play. Yeah, well, yeah, they take more life off of you, or years off of your life than they do actually time to play. Is really usually the metric.
So we just got
some terrible.
Sorry, you finished that thought.
No, I was gonna say they usually, like you said, terrible Gallagher clones.
Look, I don't mind the Gallagher clones. I can easily spend like a enjoyable half an hour behind it, but if you make me do something like a bullshit golf platformer, like, it's just one of those things. I was just like, it's meant to be an hour completion, but it's just getting me that right a little, that little bit of rift up.
Okay, all right. Well, do you want to pivot to what you've been playing then? Because you so clearly want to bitch about it.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'll pull it up. Yeah, and dunking Oreos, hey?
I was literally dunking Oreos and milk. Didn't even have my controller in my hand during that game.
Here I am, just like, there's so many situations where I'm just getting teamed up with like 2 or 3 of the opposite team, fighting against lag. I'm just like, I think I'm doing reasonably okay, considering I'm getting hit from every single angle. But
I had no care or regard for my own team.
Clearly.
Oh, hey, you got to take care of number 1 first. That's the key thing, right?
I need to go back to my chivalry. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what have I been playing this week? All right. Adrian is still in the chat or not? We were running through Rainbow Six Vegas 2 last night. We've nearly got through most of the campaign. So I think I'm down to 10 achievements. Not much else to say that.
Well, I would just say, what are you thinking of it? Like,
I'm really enjoying 2. 1 is shit. I never want to touch 1 again. But 2 is actually a pretty decent game.
One was one of the few multiplayer shooters I really got into.
1 or 2?
It was, again, 1 back in the day, and 2 afterwards when it came out. Again, this was a long time ago. I remember because I finished it the day Halo came out, because I was like, I need to get this last achievement, because not everyone's going to be moving. It was that time during the 360 where it was whenever there was it was like every 2 months or so there was like a big multiplayer release, and people just moved from one to the other. And it was like Gears of War, and then it was like Lost Planet for like a minute or 2. And then it was like Halo, and like it just kept moving like that. It was like a moving crowd of multiplayer gamers.
So that point in my life that I had a dial-up connection and didn't know what anything other than a LAN was.
Yeah, basically it was 2007 or so. So yeah, you probably would have been shit out of luck.
Am I going to do the stack? No, Adrian's doing the German stack, and I'm still like, what the fuck? But anyway,
okay.
GTA 5 on 360. We've been playing a little bit this week.
Yeah, a little bit.
How's your tennis game?
My tennis game is fucking terrible. You're surprisingly good at tennis, or I'm surprisingly bad, or both.
I don't know. Like, you just couldn't get it. I think you got one shot in on me.
I maybe got one. To be fair, though, we were just trying to get it done for the achievement, so that's my excuse, is that I was letting
you were trying to.
Well, no, because mate, I mean, like, once you'd won the first set, there was no point in me trying to win the next 6 when you could have just won 5 and we could have just been done with it. However, looking at some of the Platinum Awards, we will need to have a couple of rematches in tennis and arm wrestling. So I beat the shit out of you in arm wrestling. So just for the record.
I can't remember.
I just like I would in real life. So just
Yeah, okay, that's probably fair. Anyway,
my fiance is giving me a look like she does not believe that. All right. Well,
yeah, I can take you.
I know what we're doing in the next PAX then.
Actually, that just reminds me of the ice cream.
I still won that one too.
Anyway, GTA 5 on 360. Oh my god, this has the worst bloody connection. Alright. The ordeal of getting this game downloaded was fucking bad enough. First you have to download a game. Then after that, that probably took me a couple of hours because 360 is slow as hell. Then I had to download 4 compatibility packs for it, which took me another 5 hours, which was also slow as hell. On a 40 megabit connection, and I don't know why it was going too slow. After that, you have to download another 13 packs.
They've released a lot of DLC for that game over the years.
Which they will get to 99%, and then it'll go can't install DLC pack 12. And it's why? Why have I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to download this one thing? Only to repeat the exact same process. It was fucking hell. I thought I was going to be playing GTA 5 just after lunch yesterday, and I didn't jump on until, I think, 7 p.m.?
I was going to say, we got there about dinner time, I think, yeah. Which was good, because I had been, as I said, driving around in a circle for several hours, so I just drove around in a circle for a few more hours while we waited. But we finally got in there.
Exactly how I remember it. My character is still cringe. I hate my choices from 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, back in 2014.
You had the emo fringe still.
I had the emo fringe. I had the wankiest bloody jacket I've ever seen. I'm just what was I smoking?
I like the sunglasses at night as well. It was a look.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just really God, if I could go back 7 years and beat myself up in the past, probably teach my prior self a lesson. But anyway, moving on to good games. Forza Horizon 2 on 360. Me and Todd got most of the bucket list done. Look, I'm always going to listen to emo music, let's be honest. I've got most of the stuff done now. I need to go find a few more sponsorships. I think I'm sitting at 650 Gamerscore. The rest of it's just really long, grindy, playground game stuff and all that. But I have noticed there's a few lobbies going around still for the 360, which is a bit interesting. So hopefully I don't need to rely on other people to grind it as hard as... Because I think I probably got 15, 20 more hours and I've completed the series. So as soon as I get that done...
I was going to say until the end of the year, right?
Until Forza Horizon 5 comes out. But as soon as that comes out, I'm going to be straight on that. If I can push myself to getting first on that leaderboard, oh boy. That'd be fun.
That'd be impressive. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to hearing about it because there's no way I'm playing it. Well, actually, to be fair, from what everyone said, maybe I will play it because it'll be in Game Pass.
It looks amazing.
Does look really good.
Interested. Talking about racing, I started up Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered today.
Oh.
Which was... So what's a nice way to put this? It was Need for Speed.
It's the same game, basically.
Yeah,
they haven't changed anything.
Okay. I was gonna say I had my answer then, but then I just lost it.
Yeah, so the original Need for Speed Most Wanted that you played is probably still my favorite one, Garrett. Yeah.
I liked Payback.
Remastered is probably.
I liked Payback, but that was I know
had
a
lot of microtransactions and stuff in it, though. It was in terms of pure gameplay, I would say probably the one that Cameron's playing, the Hot Pursuit Remastered, is probably pretty good in terms of just actual racing because you get to do the cops and robbers thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different dynamic gameplay. Even for someone like me who's not a big racing fan, I've quite enjoyed that game. It's still way too fucking hard for me to do, but yeah.
I was just about to say, I don't think the achievement list looks too hard.
Okay.
But saying that, I do play a fair bit of races.
You're actually pretty good at them.
Yeah. Payback was decent. I downloaded Heat as well, but I've never tried Heat before. I don't know why I never got to want to hit AA play, but I'll probably get around to that this week as well.
Turned them all on and played the intros for all of them, and then maybe 15 minutes afterwards to try to get a feel for it. I definitely got a feel that most of them are not good.
Yeah, they haven't had a real banger in quite a while. It was Criterion, who did Burnout, did a few of them, and then they kind of all got mixed together, and then they stopped for a bit and came back, and were like, hey, we're back. I think Payback was supposed to be their Fast and Furious style game, and that just kind of didn't really... I mean, it was a decent game, but it just didn't hit. So they're 0 for 4 at this point in terms of games, unfortunately.
King in the chat too, game soundtracks haven't been good in over a decade. Yep. 100% agree with that.
100%. Burnout Paradise was like the last one that I was like really on board with.
And even then, I was a bit shaky on that.
Even then, it wasn't Burnout 3, so...
I go back to the original games, I chuck them on Spotify, and then that's what I was doing for Forza Horizon 2, and it was amazing.
Yeah, just put on the Need for Speed 2 Underground track.
Yep, 100%. But yeah, I need to play Heat, but I'm just trying to remember. I'm interested to see how Need for Speed goes now, seeing that EA purchased Codemasters.
Yeah, that's probably the logical step, right? Because they've needed someone who could probably take over that thing. Because, I don't really see them doing another Grid game when they could just, do a Need for Speed in the Grid engine or with the Grid developers. Because, like, the Grid games, like, in terms of, the mixture of, like, arcade and sim racer have a good balance to them for the most part. I'm sure the Dirt franchise will continue, but...
Really, EA just needs to make something that's I don't want to say a rip-off of Horizon, but that's basically where I'm going.
Sure.
Like, yeah. I don't care for motorsport at all. Like, I'll still play it just to say that I've had the experience, but I'm not going to push myself through them when they don't care about this discontinued achievements, which kind of frustrates the hell out of me, but, I mean, what can you do? EA's the same.
Yeah, definitely doesn't garner a lot of sympathy from us, for sure.
Support the devs. So, actually, we didn't talk about Arvcharge last week, did we?
No, we did.
Oh, we did? All right, another shout out. Support Chain Awesome Games. Like,
they're great. They're 100%. Great. They didn't quite understand the achievement community, and now they understand it 100%. They've been informed by everyone who they gave free copies of the game to. Now that they're shutting it down, which is very, very nice of them.
Other than that, I played a lot of Rattle Arca and East Asia, Asia Software Trash this week. I think I did like 6 games the other day, and then I'm like, I need to stop doing stuff like this and actually study in that. But I finished up the week on 8,370. A few other things, played like Halo MCC just to grind a little bit, but I haven't got any achievements. Shout out to Katarina as well for doing that. Surprisingly, where's she from? It's Brazil, right?
Portugal.
Sorry. The connection, flawless. Like, there was no lag. It was 100% amazing. We were just playing... Sorry, I was just playing like trash. She was probably doing decent, but we just couldn't catch a break.
I mean, Valak's connection is usually pretty good. Portugal has surprisingly good internet, actually, it seems, for being on the other side of the world.
Maybe it's just Canada that I have problems with.
Maybe. It might just be.
But anyway, 8,370 for the week. I haven't quite overtaken Alex yet. I'm like 2,000 behind. But I could push myself next week and get into the top 50 for Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm getting to that point now. But then,
I mean, hey, you've been putting down the points. That's what happens. That is actually what happens, right? You just keep playing stuff, and one day you look and you're like, oh shit, I'm on a leaderboard somewhere.
Saying that, like, Tarragon's like 50,000, and he's like 40th. So I think breaking 50 to 40 is going to be the push.
Oh yeah, I know. All right, Garrett, what about you? Have you had time to play anything recently?
No, I'm actually playing less video games right now than I have almost my entire life, just because I'm trying to start a company about video games. So, ironic, but the past 4 days I've stepped it up a little bit, because before that, May 25th, up until 4 days ago, I had hardly had any time to play anything, because I've been working so much. Right now, past 4 days, I've taken some time, set it aside, and played some. I'm playing a little bit of Knockout City, beat Resident Evil 2 remake, and then I'm trying to decide what single-player story game I should get into. And then on top of that, I have my PS5 just sitting there collecting dust as I decide which single-player game to play on that console. I think I'm going to blow through Ratchet and Clank, since it's just a campaign game, and get it knocked out. And it looks beautiful. I turned it on and played for about a couple hours. So that's kind of what I'm working on, is Ratchet and Clank and Knockout City.
I've heard really good things about Ratchet and Clank. It's a shame I can't play it. But
I was going to ask, Is it worth the $110 Australian what they're charging for it?
Holy cow. That's how much they're charging?
Yeah. Because Australia.
They can.
That's ridiculous. How much does that convert in US dollars?
Actually, what? 70 to probably be like 90 or something converted. We're not condoning region swapping, but yeah, there's it. $92.16. $92.16.
I mean, I'm crazy. I'd pay it, but I'm not. Everyone's got their own means. I personally would pay it because I am a huge enthusiast of video games and think that I want to play all the best games ever, and I think Ratchet and Clank is definitely one of them based on my experience.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. Yeah, I might. I'll wait for a sale. I'll actually wait for PlayStation 5 to come back in stock, and then I'll wait for a sale.
Saying that, I'm saying like a lot of the PlayStation 4 titles, like the good ones, Spider-Man and that, for like $9 lately.
Yeah,
I'm kind of tempted.
Thing to do is honestly buy a game a year after it comes out. I mean, if I was patient, that's what I'd do. I never do that, but that is what everyone should do.
Yeah, that's essentially the mythos of this podcast. You'll notice that we haven't talked about a recent game at all. Yeah, so
unless it's hit Game Pass.
Unless it's at Game Pass, of course. In which case, yeah, we're on it like white on rice. All right.
I'm getting called out from Todd now because Todd's just like given like 90 games to me in the last.
Oh yeah, well, Todd is a very kind individual. He's a good mate. Also, Todd, if you want to buy off my Japanese games, let me know. Because I've got a couple sitting here that I'm not playing anymore. What have I been playing? I'm definitely not putting up the score. I'm still deep in the backlog mines trying to clean up games. Last week I talked a little bit about The Messenger and how it was a fun game that I really enjoyed, but it was a bit too much Ninja Gaiden and not enough Metroid. Having now finished it, I want to double down on that. It is a really cool game. I love the art style, and again, I don't want to spoil anything because there's some changes that happen. If you've listened to like way back when Alex 2.0 talked about it, he sort of mentioned a little bit about it, but it goes from being a sort of standard side-scrolling, one direction, go from point A to point B, to being a bit more open about halfway through the game. And then there's some graphical stuff that happens and some story stuff, and it's quite interesting. And I was really actually quite intrigued by it. But the game is pretty punishing. It's the kind of thing where like most of the combat is fine. Some of the boss fights are tough, but a lot of it is that platforming. Like you need to get really good. The game doesn't have a strict double jump. You only get a double jump after you hit something. So you need to jump, hit, jump, hit, jump, hit, and there's a lot of timing involved. You get like a hook shot that also includes that. So you need to start like. Anyway, I'm fucking terrible at these kinds of games. It turns out. I like the idea of them, and I enjoy playing through a lot of it. But some of the harder challenges like almost drove me to drink. And like
that's big coming from you.
I know. I've been sober for 6 years, so it's been a hell of a thing. It's
I've been sober for 30 minutes.
That's hey, got to start somewhere. It was so there's a challenge, and Alison has had to deal with me bashing my head against that for several hours, where you have to beat a dark version of yourself in a race. And so there's 5 stages, and the achievement is like you can get through it. And just like you have to win 5 times, but you can win 5 times in any order. So you could lose 4 and then win 5, or win 3 and then 2. But the achievement is for winning 5 in a row straight off. So and the courses get harder the more you win. So courses 1 through 3 are really simple once you got them down. Like I could do them blindfolded at this point. Course 4 has a little bit of tricky to it, but I managed to get it to the point where I'd perfected it so well that I was almost like 10 seconds ahead of him by the end of it. Course 5 is one of the most bullshit things I've ever had to deal with in my entire life, and that is saying a lot. It involves jumping, using a hookshot, gliding, and then hitting lanterns and jumping and using the momentum from your glide to propel you up a hill, and then gliding again, and then doing the same thing to get to the end. If you get hit by an enemy, if you miss a lantern, if you don't quite go fast enough, if you get hit by an enemy projectile, you just stop. Like, you just, like, stop dead, and the enemy just flies right past you and gets to the end. I did this about 80 to 90 times. It takes, and also you need to repeat the previous stages to get there. I was over the despair event horizon. It was unbelievably frustrating. I finally got there though, but I didn't think I would. It took me about 3 or 4 hours to do on this one part, where I have Valak, who was in the Discord, being like, "Yeah, that part took me like 30 minutes. It was really tough." And so yeah, I'm gonna throttle him next time I'm in Portugal. I mean, like, again, he meant well, and like he understood, but he is very, very good at those games. But like a lot of my friends had done it, so I was like, I know this is possible, but it's and then painful. So the first, very painful. And yeah, like usually I have a decent skill ceiling for video games, but this was really pushing against it in a sort of an area where I wasn't super familiar. But hey, got through it. And then the first question I got was, so you're going to do the Windows 10 version? I decided not to for my sanity, but if it ever comes back to Game Pass, I will probably do it. And as Aftos has said, Valak is a beast, and that he loves him and hates him so much, and I totally agree. Valak is just he's very humble. Well, he's not really humble, but he's.
I was going to say what?
He's not humble in terms of his personality, but he's definitely humble in terms of his ability.
Look, if you take everything that he says and do the exact opposite of that, he's the best friend you'll ever have.
Yeah. But he always downplays how good he is at video games, but he always upplays how good he is as a human being. So like it's somewhere in the middle for both of them. But yeah, I'm really glad to do it. It was a really cool game, and like it's the kind of thing where it ends and they're like, to be continued. We're 100% going to make another one of these. Yeah, Todd, we're talking about the Messenger. So yeah, I'm interested to see where they go from that, because it's well designed. But I think it's the kind of thing where when they do a second one, they'll nail it. And then the other stuff is I've been playing a little bit of Dragon Quest XI. I needed something to play on the Series X while GTA 5 was running in the background, driving around in circles. So I've been working a little bit on that. Like, I jumped on it again because like I really enjoyed Final Fantasy X. Like I felt like I was like, man, I really want to get back into JRPGs because like I love that like genre and that turn-based stuff, and I enjoy the stories and the slightly more methodical pace and being able to take my time. But this is really not grabbing me. It's well designed. It looks good. I love all the English voice acting. So it's all like Cockney and like Scottish and stuff that you don't hear. Like, you know, it's not just your typical American voice actors. So it's nice to hear that kind of stuff. But like the story isn't really grabbing me, and the combat is fine, but a bit too grindy, and the enemies aren't that interesting. And like all the enemies are like slightly too damage spongy. It might just be that I'm underleveled and I need to grind a bit, but like I just don't really feel incentivized to go back to it. I've been like finding excuses not to play it, which is never a good sign. But like, you know, it is a Game Pass game, and it's Square Enix, so it's probably going to be leaving in like November. So I do need to get my ass around to finishing it. But like this is like an 80-hour game, so I'm slowly chipping away at it, and I'll probably do some grinding over the weekend maybe. And then, like we talked about, Grand Theft Auto 5, just driving around in circles for the most part, although we did get together and do some of the multiplayer together, which was great fun. And we've just started doing some of the heists. And the heist idea is like really cool. Like, it's the kind of thing like... I can't believe it took them so long to add to the game, and I'm glad that I get a chance to play them, because it's really the best part about multiplayer. Like, I know a lot of people are big into like the whole role-playing, let's get together and like pretend to be like cops and robbers and stuff, or, you know, let's just do some of the multiplayer modes like survival or team deathmatch. But like the heists are really the best thing, where it's like, okay, we've got a group of buddies together, we all got different jobs and different objectives, and we're all going to run into, you know, issues, and we're all going to try and help each other. Like, I was doing a Prison Break one where I was a guard. I was a guard. The guy with me was pretending to be a prisoner. We were breaking a guy out, and like I was playing through that, and I was like, okay, you know, it all goes wrong. There's 100 guys we have to kill, and we have to get out and get in a plane and try and fly away. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, it's kind of like a standard mission. And then our pilot crashed because he was terrible. So we restarted, and I got given a different role. And this time I was demolitions. And so I had a completely different job where I just drove off. I intercepted a prison bus, killed the guy in it, drove the prison bus, torched it, then went and got a helicopter with rockets on it, and then just started blasting the prison, taking out people, and then also protecting the plane, you know, while it was being targeted by jets, until, you know, everyone else broke out. And I was like, it's a completely... Like, they obviously built all this out but like I never would have seen any of this stuff if I hadn't accidentally been given a different role. So like I really enjoy this kind of like asynchronous stuff where it's not just you. Like that's the one problem I have with these squad-based games is like, well, like it's 4 of us sitting here, but we're all basically doing the same thing as shooting at the zombies or the alien or whatever it is, you know? Like, and it's like you can have different roles, like, oh, I'm a healer and I'm a damage dealer and, you know, tank or whatever, but they really struck on something really great with that. It's a shame the servers are going down, but it has been a really good incentive for me to go back and start playing this stuff again, because I didn't play... GTA 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
saying that the servers are only going down for 360.
Sorry, yes, I should clarify. Yeah, so we're, but like I've only ever played it on the 360, and like I bought it at launch and like played like slammed through the single player and got 100% like in the first couple of weeks, and then they released the multiplayer like that week, and I played it. I won the first race, got the world record. Told all my mates about it, and they were like, "Yep, we got the world record as well," because the leaderboards don't work, and it just assumes that you're the only person who's played the race. So hey, you know, that was my moment of my 15 minutes of fame there. But
you get an award. You get
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and then before it even loaded back, it crashed on me, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we wait on this a little bit.
You know what? Maybe Rockstar's onto something with that. Maybe they need to talk to the Graw servers.
No, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Yes, I would love for them to talk to Ubisoft about resetting the Graw service. So
give everybody a top medal.
Everyone is the best player in the world. Everyone gets a trophy. I'm really enjoying going back to it for a game that's that old. I was not expecting to have this much fun just playing through it, and I was really sad when Cameron's like, "No, I need to go study," and like I can't do the actual heist.
You know what? I've been telling myself all week, and I actually did some studying today. So
that's good. I'm glad.
It wasn't in vain. It wasn't in vain. I also played an hour of Knockout City.
Oh, okay. Well, I see how it really is.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it just made me think too, like with the Graw servers, if they actually did something like that before closing down the servers, how many people would be pissed?
I mean, whatever. Fuck them. Like more people should be able to get that achievement. Having achievements based on having a number 1 spot in a leaderboard is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's just the grind of it all.
Oh, I know. I mean, I get it. Like I know. Like I talked to a guy who has 10 accounts and you know 5 Xboxes that he's running for about a month or two to try and get those achievements, while also dealing with people trying to block those leaderboards. It's we're a niche of a niche. That's another niche down. It's a rabbit hole that just never ends in terms of people trying to block leaderboards and get those achievements.
Yeah.
And it's also very salty.
I don't understand the completionists.
I don't understand it either, but I still do it. But anyway, that puts me at 1,390 for this week. I also played a bit of Max Payne, but that's just been multiplayer grinding. There's nothing really fun going on there. All right. Yeah.
ESO's not too bad though. I think ESO is like once a month or something.
Yeah, it's like every week on each server or something. I think it's like every week or two. You can.
I know it resets.
Resets, yeah. So that's which is good.
I actually want to do ESO. CJ's talking about it. I'm just like, if I actually knew people that did it, I'd probably jump into it.
I'm not getting roped into that.
Is it worth it? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's the best RPG out there for me because I like the world of Elder Scrolls so much. I wouldn't say it's as... Yeah, I would say it's a better MMORPG than World of Warcraft. So yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
Okay. I was really big into Perfect World when I was a teenager, so I'm just kind of scratching that itch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to need to check it out.
Yeah, I've
CJ is still around? We might do it one point.
I think CJ went to bed, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Damn. All right. Well, with that out of the way, maybe let's get into some questions. So we had one from Isaac, faithful question writer of the week, which we always appreciate. He put in the question channel, what are your plans after you complete your current backlog / whiteboard / etc.? That's kind of like that's kind of a scary question for me. Yeah, basically, yeah. Cameron, do you want to? Well, you got any ideas?
Well,
you got any thoughts?
Mine at the moment, I'm not sure if you can see that. I decided to put my whole one up. I'm currently going through Forza Horizon 2, 360, Halo MCC, Halo ODST, the original Forza Horizon, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay.
Saying that, I already have planned what I'm going to do for next year, and I'm just making minor tweaks and changes, mainly because I want to focus on series more, build my skills up. You know what? I'd really actually like a mini kind of app game or something that focused on language for Xbox. And it's such a strange thing, but I want games that teach me skills next year.
So you want like a Duolingo crossed with GTA, so when you don't do your Spanish lesson, it comes and breaks your leg.
That's exactly it. That's 100% a great idea.
I would play
Make
the
it
hell out of
happen.
that.
What am I going to do when I pass your gamer score? I think it's going to take me a while. Like, I'm weird. I get those urges just to, I want 10k like this over the next few days. And then I'll be like, nah, actually, I just want to play like 5 Forza Horizons and get the series completion. I think series completion's much more achievable for me rather than going top of the leaderboards. And I'd much rather be known as the guy that's done like every COD or every Halo or every Forza than the guy that's top of Oceanic. No offense.
Sure. No, I totally get that. And like the thing is, like the leaderboard thing, like I said, just kind of happened to me in terms of, because my worst nightmare is a game that never ends, right? Which is why Neverwinter is the albatross around my neck, right? Like it's the thing that will never let me go. Because like I very much, like as a completionist, I love having a game where like I play the hell out of it, I just squeeze everything out of it, and then I'm done, and it's good. And if it comes out in a remaster 10 years later, I'll play it again maybe. But until then, I'm good. Like I don't need to replay it. I'm done with it. I can take it off the whiteboard. I can hide it. I can hide it on my games list. Like I'm good. A leaderboard is the opposite of that, right? Because the leaderboard keeps going. And there's always going to be the score. You have to keep putting the score up if you want to go up the leaderboard. And other people are going to be putting score up. So you need to be going faster than them. And it's the kind of thing that just drives me nuts.
It makes me wonder, too, how you're going to be in a few years if somebody overtakes you. Like, whether you'll start something like Sea of Thieves or...
Maybe, right? Like, it's the thing. Whereas, like, maybe... Like, I have definitely gotten more chill about it since I won, the Hall of Fame stuff. And, like, it became less of a... Like, I have to be at the top of the leaderboard and more of a... Like, I would rather just kind of play my backlog. And
we're at trophies. We're cemented in history. It's fine now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, like, we've, like, as wanky as it is, like, it's kind of the thing, right? Like, we've got our place and we're good and we're happy with it. And, like, obviously we still want to be doing this and we still want to be competitive. But it's like, I can't compete with Mephisto and Rogue and their schedule, right? Like, they're crazy. Like, just, like, even listening to how they play games from the episode that they were on a few weeks back, like I was like, I can't do that anymore. Like I I could do, but like I would have to sacrifice so much, and like I still have to work. I still have to work every day. I still have to occasionally talk to my fiance and occasionally get off of the couch, very occasionally. But for when I finish my backlog, the thing is like the order of my backlog. Like, I don't think I'll ever finish my backlog, right? Like, it's like I have about 220 games or so that I need to finish. And I've got a few more that I haven't even started that are just kind of in backlog. And, like, I'll never finish all of them either from lack of skill or servers being shut down or, unobtainables or, a myriad of reasons. But I think the thing is that, like, the Xbox 360 shutdowns are really dictating what I've been playing recently, and I think they will continue to do so. So, like, I wasn't I wasn't planning on going back to Max Payne or GTA 5 anytime soon, right? They weren't definitely on my to-do list in terms of 360 non-backwards compatible games. They were in there, but they weren't at the top of the list until the other week when they got announced that they're shutting them down. Suddenly, I got to move things around. I need to look for sessions. I need to, reprioritize. It's like, okay, well, I was going to do both versions of the Messenger. I can't do that now. I don't have the time. So it's like, okay, what's getting shut down next? What do I have to focus on next? And also, like, I need to be playing games for content for the show, right? Like, I don't want to just be like, okay, it's week 5 of GTA and Max Payne 3. Check in again next week for the next update where I've been driving around in more circles and shooting the same guy in the head 2,000 times.
Same feels with Black Ops.
Yeah, right, exactly, right? Like, we still need to play other games, which is what Game Pass has been so good for. So I've got a couple things on there, like new stuff that I want to play.
I find too with the 360 stuff, it's a double-edged sword because it's taking us back to like, I had no motivation to pick up GTA 5 prior to this, but it's actually making me go back to the game and appreciate how much of an amazing game it is. And some of these server closures are actually forcing us to do that, but at the same time, it's like, we've only got so much time that we can be playing certain games. Should I be going back to a 360 game and playing Grand Theft Auto when I could be experiencing it on Series X and possibly having a much better time?
Yeah, and like it helps that GTA 5 is a great game, right? But like we've done server closures for much worse games. Like I remember doing the original Army of Two back in the day. Like that was an absolute fucking slog, and it's not a good game at all. I mean, it was good enough for EA. They made 2 sequels to it for some reason, but it's. But I'm totally with you. It really depends on the game. But I hope I've evaded the question well enough there, Isaac, for you. Garrett, what about you? I mean, I imagine you've got quite the backlog.
Backlogs worse than your guys's because I am not very good at completing games. I'm just good at starting them. So it hurts so bad. That said, I do have the OCD of a completionist. I just don't have the time availability, or at least I tell myself that as an excuse to help myself sleep at night because I'm not getting the completion I want out of games. What I'm thinking about doing, I was actually going to ask you, I want to get my completion up because I'm never going to be one of the like really competitive gamer score guys. 158,000 for me is good, and I'll grind it out, and sometimes I'll do like 8K a month on a really, really, really good month. I think my highest is like 9 or 10K a month, and that's like my highest I've ever done. Most months I'm like 1 to 3,000. That said, I was going to ask you guys, what websites do you use for walkthroughs? Because that was kind of something I wanted to know, so I can be a lot happier with myself. Like, let's say I want to play GTA 5 campaign or Red Dead Redemption 2, and I want to walk through that ensures I get all the achievements and don't miss anything. What website am I using?
I would say True Achievements most of the time, but again, that's all user submitted, so you need to kind of go game by game. The more popular a game is, chances are it'll have a walkthrough. They design their walkthroughs really well in that they'll write them and include the achievement, like the actual unlock icon, where you'll actually unlock it in the walkthrough.
That has it all in chronological order of what it should be achieved. If I can do that, that is something that's realistic for me. And I don't play very many indie games, so I'd assume that there's some place where I can do that for these popular games I'm playing.
Yeah, so for example, Dragon Quest XI has a fantastic walkthrough on TA. That's the one I've been using that basically takes you, like, it doesn't over-explain, but it has, like, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's, like, it doesn't tell you too much. It's like, here's where a boss fight's coming up, and here's the achievement that you'll learn after it. Also, make sure you pick this up because you'll need this for an achievement later on. Like, just to make sure that you're not, wasting time. Like, TA walkthroughs tend to be very efficient, and like forward thinking about like what's going to be coming up and what you need to. But unfortunately, because they're all user generated and they take a long time, and there are a lot of long games. And because someone obviously has to play through the whole game, figure out what the best order to unlock the achievements in, and then often do that a few times before they can write the guide, it's an extra layer of time. So sometimes they just don't have guides for a long time.
But like it's hard too, because like I would say definitely check out TA first, but you'll have certain creators, like I know there's one for all the Yakuza games that does an amazing job, and it covers basically, you can use it for every platform. Can't think of the creator's name right now, but unfortunately, for some walkthroughs,
Mac is great. Mac is fantastic in terms of like video guide content. He's good for individual achievements, and then for shorter games, he'll do full game walkthroughs of like the 2 or 3 hour games. It'll just run you through the whole thing. I
mean, just to go through
names,
there's Macca, there's Chivo guides. As much as I hate the intros, he does some.
Yeah.
I skipped 10 seconds ahead, but the rest is fine. You got Hidden Levels, Sangrias, who we've had on the show before. Who else we got?
Bills,
for
sure.
Achievement Land, Cheetazooey.
Achievement Land. Yeah. There's a lot of really good guide makers out there, but I think a lot of it is video content. I tend to go towards more written guides, so I can take it at my own pace, and I don't have to have a video running the whole time while I'm trying to play something. But yeah, so I tend to use TA if I can. Otherwise, I usually IGN or NeoSeeker usually have some sort of walkthrough, but I have to usually cross-reference that with the True Achievements or say like Xbox 360 or Xbox Achievements website to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Thankfully, things on TA, the achievements have flags on them, and people can flag it as missable. So usually you could filter by those and just look for the stuff that's missable that you want to make sure that you don't miss as you're going through the game. And the rest of it usually you can get later or just sort of comes naturally. But again, it is that's definitely a priority of sort of achievement hunting, is like how do you do this? Because again, like you said, there's only so much time that we've got, right? And as much as I love playing games, I don't really want to have to play something twice just because I missed something that, I missed an achievement halfway through a game that I wasn't aware of until I got to 3/4 through. I'm like, well, do I restart now? Do I go to the end of the game and then try to do it again? Or does it have a new game plus? Or is it, I totally understand that. It can be very, very frustrating.
I was going to ask too, with the UXP project, you've said about people submitting their own articles and that, yeah?
So what we're going to do is after we launch, probably within 30 days of the launch date, which we don't, I'm going to be announcing the name and showing the logo for the first time on Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening Central Standard Time next week. Then probably a week or two after that, the website will be done being built and we'll launch everything and content will start going out. Then probably within 30 days of that, we will be launching the ability for users to create a profile, log in, and actually write an article the same way that we will write articles as contributors, but it'll be distinguished that they're not part of the staff at the UXP.
So my question for that is, if somebody wanted to go and make their own, say, walkthrough and put it on UXP website, would they be able to?
Yeah, no, they will. We're going to have a spot not only for regular articles and opinion pieces, but we're also going to have achievement guides, walkthroughs, and video uploads as well.
Yeah, so.
Fantastic. All right, just going through some of the questions there.
Club turn up on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, that's Tuesday your time, not Tuesday our time.
That'll be Wednesday our time, yeah.
Yeah. Just to cover the chat.
I got asked if I played Dust and Elysium Tale, a good Metroid-style game with anime art style. Yes, I have. It's that's an example of a really, really good Metroidvania platformer with some interesting combat, a good difficulty curve on it too. A little bit challenging, but not too crazy. Furry community love that game though. Charlotte asked, what's our favorite memory from RGS and what's our funniest memory? It's a good question, considering it's the last episode. I think one of my favorite episode is probably episode 100. That quiz show was just so much fun.
Yes.
It was really good getting all. It didn't hurt that I won and like.
Wait, is Alex still here? Please tell me Alex.
I don't know if Alex is still here. I hope so.
Nah, he's not. I was going to call him out for it. No, wait, no, he is. He's under. Yeah, yes. Do we want to give him shit? I want to give him shit.
Yeah, go for it. It's the last episode.
Alex, that quiz show was something else, buddy.
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. He organized it perfectly.
We need to replicate something like that on the.
Well, we need to bring it back. We'll bring it back. We'll definitely do something because I had such a great and it was really good. Like again, it was a bit chaotic because we had so many people on the show, but it was really fun because obviously the show's changed a lot from episode 1 to now. I mean, from changing of hosts to changing of styles and doing more interview content and cutting out some of the old stuff and doing new competitions and stuff, and it's been great. We've loved it. Funniest memory. That's really hard because there's been some absolute cracker jokes. I mean, I feel bad.
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark was a classic. Probably for all the wrong reasons. We quickly took Song of the Week. For those who don't know, Cameron decided to take upon himself to do Baby Shark for Song of the Week one week. And then we banned him from doing Song of the Week ever again. I took it back pretty quickly.
I've had some good ideas.
Actually, you know what? The Mumford and Sons controversy.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites. Where Kirby did Mumford and Sons for Song of the Week because he figured it was a popular song that everyone had heard of, and not a single person we ever spoke to knew what song it was. He was very, very upset by that. What
else was there? There was like my first episode that I was on was when I used to live with my ex, and we had Dante and Hershey there.
Yes,
and Dante,
the cat.
Yeah, and that was right around Christmas. Dante knocking over the Christmas tree in the background, and the audio making it into the
show, and then that became the censor noise for every time they swore. That was good. Yep.
What else is there?
I also actually, my personal favorite moment was one of the first episodes I guested on before I was even a host. I was we were pulling the I think it was not we had a couple of competitions. There was the random to-do list competition.
Yep.
For if you got a free code for a game, and then there was the Patreon competition, which you got a free game of your choice. And they drew the they drew the random to-do list competition. I was on the episode, and I won. And then they drew the Patreon contest, and I won that one. And so they said, well, maybe we shouldn't let you win twice, so we'll draw it again. And they drew it again, and I won a third time. So I went out and bought a lottery ticket that week. But it was, and that was one of those moments where I was like, I love this show so much. It's just so much fun, and just it all fell apart. I mean, the show has always been run on a shoestring, and we've always really appreciated the original hosts and the community and where it's gone. But we've had so many great moments, and we've absolutely loved doing it. And we're hoping to continue it with the new show, which we'll announce after the questions.
I'm trying to think what else. Resupply card was great. Like every time Alex just freaks out, is amazing.
Alex is a classic ranter. He's got his rants on point for sure.
I'm trying to think what else.
We will be continuing the podcast on UXP. We'll announce the new name for it at the end of the questions.
What else was I going to say? Some of the episode titles, like all right, Cameron turned off the dishwasher.
Yeah, there's been some good ones.
Sin over cos.
Sin over cos. The tan one.
Yeah, because the tangent.
Tangent. We went on a big tangent.
What else was there?
It's been really fun. I was hanging out with Charlotte a while back, and we actually went through the old episodes and looked at the titles and listened to like Song of the Week. And I've actually made a playlist of all the original versions of Song of the Week that I've based my songs and the other hosts have based songs off of. That I'll put in the podcast chat after this so everyone can to listen to them. I can't do renditions of them anymore, but
5 playthroughs in Claymore.
5 playthroughs, five. That's pretty good.
Obviously, there's like just a few really good ones. It's been like 72 episodes ago.
It's been. Yeah, there's been some good stuff.
It's good too. Like it's good just going back to like a random early episode. Like I'd say like the first 30 to 40, and just seeing how much the show has progressed now from us knocking down the door and taking over.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And it's been and again, like it's obviously there's obviously news content stuff that's not super relevant anymore, but there's still so much in terms of like good quality, like just comedy content and game discussion, and it's interesting from a historical point of view as well. So like I would highly recommend that you guys go check out the old episodes to see how far we've come.
Like Matt said before, we couldn't do it without like Matt and Alex and Kirby and Warren as well.
Yeah, and Tarragon, yeah.
And Tarragon. Sorry. So many names. We've got way too many names. Anyway, what else?
Any other questions in there?
Is there any other moments that we've forgotten? Kirby hitting 1 million and one is probably a good one as well.
Oh, that is very funny. Yes, he hit 1,000,001 gamer score just to piss off Alex, because Alex basically says that it doesn't count unless you hit the exact number on the dot. So just to annoy him, he got a 1-point achievement over, which was very funny.
I thought you weren't salty about it, Alex.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He was, ranking in gold to platinum. It's funny too, like from memory, Kirby just coming to Rocket League like with no experience and then being the better one of the two.
Oh, like, actually, and just in the chat, both Alex and Alex and Charlotte have basically pointed out the best moment of the podcast, indisputably, is when we got Sangrius on. I think it was Sangrius on the episode, and Alex goes, "Oh, hey, you're the first person who's had 1 million gamer score that we've had on the show. I had been on the show 2 or 3 times before that, but he just completely forgotten about it, and I've roasted him endlessly about that. But it's hilarious. I'm so glad that we got the chance to do the show. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all the questions we've got.
Yeah.
You want to talk a bit about the new show, Cameron?
I mean, yeah. So we kind of gave the Patreon listeners a sneak preview on the name.
Yes. Yeah. So we our Patreons have got access to the Discord for the last week. the new Discord, and so we'll be putting the link to the new Discord after this recording goes up. So you guys can all, I mean, the cat will be kind of out of the bag there in terms of the naming. So Cameron, what's the wonderful name that you came up with for the new show?
This is, everybody's going to laugh at me, and then you're just going to say, like, no, it was totally my name, which I know it was, but your name was, you had one name with a list of like 25 that I came with.
To be fair, yes, you had a lot of good names. I had one good name. Had a lot of names. One of them was good, though.
The new podcast will be called the Hall of Gamers Podcast.
So we're working on some logos and rebranding.
We just turned Lights, Camera, and Action into a full-time podcast now.
Lights, Camera, and Action is not going anywhere. That's still a quality title.
Look, it's only gone somewhere because people don't catch up to watching Sam and Max. Have you watched a single episode yet?
No, of course not. I told you we need to. I'm not having this discussion live. All right, we will take this offline. But so we've got Hall of Gamers Podcast is going to be our new show. It's going to be the same but different. We're going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to be changing up all the branding and all that bits and pieces and all sort of changing all the Twitch names and Twitter names and that sort of stuff. And then we're going to be doing a couple episodes. We're going to do an episode 0 that we're going to pre-record to give people who don't know about us an introduction as to who the hell we are. Because
I was going to say, Kirby 2 said he might even come back for a guest experience.
Yeah, which would be great.
Which,
it's, which we, I mean, again, he's assuming that we let him on the show, right?
This is the problem, yeah. I'll invite Kirby back for one episode, and this will immediately go back to the podcast where Kirby and Matt bully Cameron into endless submission podcast.
I mean, like, there's nothing, I just give the people
I like it. Okay? I like it when it's one episode and I kind of have, like, somewhat of a standing ground.
Fair. Again, when it's just you and I, you do actually get some talking points, which is good.
Which is,
So we're super excited. Again, we'll be taking on feedback and making some changes as things go on. But again, things with the Unnamed Xbox Project are pretty crazy at the moment. So we're gonna record it in episode 0 so people know who we are for our new audience that we're hoping to get. And then we'll do a sort of a first episode with we're hoping to do a first episode with one of the staff actually.
Yeah. And saying that, like, it opens the opportunity for us to interview so much of the staff that have really diverse and, characters that we would not have even known before this project.
Yeah, exactly. We're super excited, and we've gotten to work with so many cool people, even just talking to them, and just they're so excited and keen and interesting, and just from all walks of life and all different things that they've done, and we just really want to just grill them about how terrible they are at hunting for achievements. I just can't wait.
They got like real life achievements compared to us. Some of us.
Yeah, I know, but this is our podcast. We're in charge here. Like, I'm not letting it. They could have cured cancer for all I care, and we still need to just stomp on them.
What's more important, us having a trophy or somebody meeting Keanu Reeves? That's
that. Okay, to be fair, that's a pretty big achievement. I wish I could have done that.
I just love that conversation. But yeah, there's going to be some definitely interesting characters.
Yeah, and so again, we still want to get members of our community on. We've still got people who are lined up for this show who we want to get on at some stage as well, and that sort of stuff. We got a lot. Again, it's a work in progress, and there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of changes. But you guys will be the first to know because you guys. I'm hoping you guys will stick with us because we love doing the show, and this is only going to make it bigger and better. And we want to thank Garrett for the opportunity.
100%.
Yeah, of course. Super happy to be doing this with you guys. I think that since we're going to be an Xbox-centered news brand, that Gamerscore, achievement hunting, that there's obviously that's a huge part of the Xbox community, right? So thanks to you guys, we get to service that community with you guys who have already been doing this for some time now, and I'm really excited that we're going to be able to help each other out and amplifying your voice and your reach through the UXP brand here soon.
100%.
Fantastic, and we're looking forward to get to shout from the rooftops how great the website is and all the community involved with it. All right. All right. Well, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Cameron, anything? Is there anything else you want to say?
I was going to say just I will probably be swapping up some of the branding over the coming week. Once we have some official information on the launch of the official name and that, you guys will be some of the first to know. You know me, I like to spam everything on social, so it's...
Oh yeah, you won't miss it. Trust us. We'll be shouting this a lot.
Yeah.
Fucking half. It'll be good. It'll be really good. All right. Well, if you want to get in touch with us, best place to find us is probably on our individual stuff at the moment. If you want to find me, you can find me on Neomaster on pretty much everything True Achievements Xbox, except for Twitter, where I'm Matt_Johnson, spelled incorrectly. Figure it out. Cameron, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter under... Actually, I've done so much stuff on my socials this week. It's either going to be Shadowless Edge or Cameron Highland. It's either going to have a space or without. Same thing. Figure it out. No, I'll look, if you message me, I might just let you know. But yeah.
Message us on Discord or Xboxes. We're always there.
Yeah. Just join the Discord. We will have the new UXP server posted right after this. Come in, say hello, enjoy the crumpets, get some tea. I don't know. This is sounding very British right now.
I was going to say, get into a fight in the anime channel. I already see some fighting words, people talking about Attack on Titan that I'm just absolutely not having. So
I saw Magic the Gathering, and I'm just like, okay.
I put Magic the Gathering in there because I know we're going to get all kinds of nerds.
I know, because I looked into it, and I'm just like, every time I'm just like, it's like I'm reading another language. It's fascinating, but I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
We need to segregate them a little bit. They can't be involved with us normies, you know?
You know what? That's probably what they're doing in the cloud gaming. They're probably just working on Magic the Gathering clones.
That's probably it. And Garrett, where can people find you?
Right now, I just want to be found on Twitter, which is Garrett E. Atkins on Twitter.
Thank you all for sticking with us for the almost 3-year run of Real Gamerscore. It's been a hell of a journey. And really, it's the end of the chapter, but it's the start of a new one. And we're hoping that all of you, every single one of you, come over to the Hall of Gamers, because we're just going to keep on rolling. I'm not going to stop singing, by the way. If that no one asked me to stop singing or to keep singing, but I'm just going to keep doing it.
Song of the Week has now become Album of the Week.
Album of the Week, yeah. Well,
I have like 10 times no idea what's going on now.
There was one joke from someone I was talking to over at UXP who asked if I wanted to move the podcast to being daily instead of weekly. But I said that I don't know if I could write a song every single day of the week and still be sane. Yeah, so I think we're going to stick to weekly for now, at least. But again, thank you all for being here. Again, you guys don't really need to go anywhere. We're basically going to change the scenery around you. But if you have any questions, you know where to reach us. We'll answer as much as we can, and we'll have more news as the site gets launched and as the official name gets announced and all that kind of stuff.
100%. Same thing. Like, just so much gratitude to the old hosts and like just to the community. Like, it's really exciting to actually be a part of this project. So I hope you continue to listen in as me and Matt, like, you know, aim for the moon. Whatever the terminology is.
Words.
Yes.
One of those terms. Yes. I've got the podcast title right there. So thank you. I was worried that we hadn't said anything ridiculous enough.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, Cameron, roll the music. Let's get out of here.
Catches.
Cheers.